You know, when we think about the American presidency, we think of power, prestige, the whole deal. But what if I told you it's actually one of the deadliest jobs on the entire planet?
8. Yep, that's the number. 8 U.S. presidents have died while in office. It's a crazy mix of assassinations and illnesses that just cut their terms and their lives way too short.
But here's where it gets really interesting. This isn't just about the presidents we lost. No, the stories that really blow your mind are about the ones who, through either just pure grit or unbelievable luck, simply refused to die.
I mean, some of these guys didn't just survive an attack on their life. They fought back, and they fought back hard.
Okay, first up, Andrew Jackson. This guy was already a legend for fighting in duels, just a famously tough dude. Well, in 1835, he came face-to-face with the very first presidential assassination attempt in U.S. history.
So get this, the assassin steps up, points a pistol right at Jackson's chest. Click. Misfire. So the guy pulls out a second pistol, aims again, and click. Another misfire. The odds of that are just astronomical. But does Jackson run? Nope. This 67-year-old president charges the guy and starts beating him with his cane until his aides have to pull him off. Unreal.
And then, then there's Teddy Roosevelt. He was part of the Bull Moose Party, and let me tell you, he lived up to that name in the most bonkers way you can imagine.
So in 1912, he's out campaigning, and bam, he gets shot in the chest. But instead of, going to a hospital, he figures the bullet didn't hit his lung. So what does he do? He gets up on stage and gives a full speech for 84 minutes with a bullet lodged in his chest. That is just a legendary level of toughness.
All right, so we've seen the presidents who were basically indestructible. Now let's flip the script and talk about the ones who met their end in some of the unluckiest and frankly most bizarre ways possible.
Yeah, these guys weren't taken down by some grand conspiracy. First, you've got William Henry Harrison. The popular story is he caught a cold giving a 2-hour speech in the freezing rain. But the real culprit was probably just bad water in the White House, which gave him typhoid. He was president for only 31 days. And then there's Zachary Taylor. He's at a hot 4th of July party, eats a bunch of cherries with iced milk, and 3 days later, he's dead from a stomach bug. It just goes to show, sometimes it's the little thing.
But maybe the unluckiest president of them all has to be James Garfield. I mean, this guy was the victim of what you can only call deadly medical malpractice. He absolutely survived the assassin's bullet. He just couldn't survive his own doctors.
Just look at how this played out. It's a total tragedy. Day 1, he gets shot. But the bullet? It actually missed everything important. He should have been fine. But for the next 79 days, doctors just kept poking around in the wound with unsterilized fingers and tools, trying to find it. They introduced a massive infection that eventually killed him. They literally killed him by trying to cure him.
As crazy as all those stories are, they almost seem normal compared to one of the most unbelievable, you couldn't make this up, coincidences in all of American history.
So let's set the scene. You've got 2 founding fathers, John Adams and Thomas Jefferson. These guys were like revolutionary best friends, then they became bitter political enemies, and then, in their old age, they became friends again. And the date is July 4th, 1826, the 50th anniversary of the country they helped create.
And on that exact day, the nation's 50th birthday, both of them passed away. On the same day, hundreds of miles apart. I mean, come on. It's like something straight out of a movie script.
And here's the final heartbreaking twist. John Adams' very last words were, "Thomas Jefferson survives." He died thinking his old friend and rival was still alive, having no idea that Jefferson had actually passed away just a few hours earlier.
Beyond how they died, the last words of these presidents give us this really unique, really human look into their final moments. Some are deep and profound, some are kind of weird, and some are honestly just funny.
Okay, let's start with Millard Fillmore. He's on his deathbed. Someone gives him a spoonful of soup, and with his dying breath, he delivers this incredibly formal food review. The nourishment is palatable. You just gotta love that. Then, on the complete other end of the spectrum, you've got John Quincy Adams. After his presidency, he kept serving in Congress. He had a stroke right there on the House floor, and as they carried him out, he said this is the last of Earth. I am content. Just, wow, so powerful. And then there's James K. Polk. His last moments were just pure romance. He got sick right after leaving office, and his final words were spoken directly to his wife, Sarah.
Just beautiful.
So, when you pull it all together, what do you get? You get these amazing stories of just incredible toughness, cases of absurdly bad luck, coincidences that are almost too perfect to be real, and these deeply, deeply human goodbyes.
What all this really shows us is that behind those stoic, serious portraits, these were real people. They were fighters, they were victims of bad luck, they were subject to fate. It reminds us that history isn't just about dates and laws. It's about these wild, unpredictable, and deeply human stories. And it makes you wonder, what kind of stranger-than-fiction stories are happening behind the scenes of power right now?